He's big, he's blue, he's back. Ooh, ah, watch the sun burn. Kidding. What's up, y'all? That's Aladdin. What's up? Got an article for you. Let me ask you this. I found this on Game Bytes. Listen to this. Listen to this title. It's right up your guy's alley. Listen to this. Is pre-ordering games really such a bad thing? Is it? Let's find out. Listen to this. Is pre-ordering games really such a bad thing? Over the last few years, more and more gamers have taken to boycott pre-orders and telling other players to do the same. At some point, you have to ask: is pre-ordering a game really a bad thing? And if so, why? Back in the day, pre-ordering game was almost a necessity. If you wanted to play it on day one, wait a minute, how far am I? If you wanted to play it on day one, okay, it says here, if you didn't pre-order your copy of Nintendogs on the Nintendo DS 3 months before release, there was a pretty likely chance that stores would sell out on the day, leaving you with no pups and lots of tears on launch day. As time moves on, it became much easier to pre-order your game on Amazon to have it dropped to your door on launch day, rather than having to go to the store and then the digital era came. Pre-ordering digital versions of a game means you can sit in front of your own home and start your 80 gig download, often with the option to preload a game before, without having a queen at the midnight launch. It means the game is ready for you the second the clock ticks to midnight, and it means you don't need to worry about traffic to the stores, whether the postman can find your home, or if Amazon is going to deliver a day late even though you paid for Prime. So what's the problem with pre-orders? Reddit user this man does the Reddit sums it up pretty well in a post on the topic from 2018. We have a culture evolving towards incomplete and poorly tested games being released to market, and that, coupled with companies making a huge chunk of their profit before its release, you are not providing them with any incentive to actually fix this behavior, writes this man does the Reddit, perfectly explaining what happens with EA and Anthem over a year before it launched. Let's take the industry scapegoat EA as an example. They're being called out for their practice, but people are still handing them buckets of cash for products they haven't seen. If they're worried about their bottom line, which means any decent company should be, nothing's wrong with that, and they're faced with a spending another 6 months actually finishing a game to a high standard of pumping out a nearly finished game, having already recouped their production costs because of pre-ordered, is going to lean them towards the latter option. On the other hand, if they don't make any money until they actually ship the product, and they know there are things that are likely to impact opinions and therefore sales that needs to be fixed, they will probably be more inclined to fix them, because if they don't, they lose money. By allowing this to be okay with some companies, even if they have a track record of high quality releases. You're you are normalizing this behavior and encouraging it on a much larger scale, which in turn leads to more people to pre-order from companies that are going to give you that are going to give you crip if you have already paid them. It says here, aside from encouraging developers to care less about their launch day, it's often argued that pre-orders are just cash grab for publishers, especially when it comes to their incentive pre-purchase only contents. And don't forget, we're not even we're not even touched on the now average $200 physical special edition release that comes with everything from statues to soundtracks. That's another argument for another day. Over on Twitter, I asked people what makes them pre-order a game. Turns out the majority, 52.9% of you lot wait a minute. Turns out majority, 52.9% of you lot are just like me and only pre-order a game if it's a series you love, meaning like Halo, Mario, Zelda, Last of Us. You get the point. Meanwhile, over a quarter of voters said actively do not pre-order reg- they actively do not pre-order regardless of circumstance. Over 15% of voters admit that they will pre-order if the bonus content is worthwhile. Shows a chart here. Then it says here, Twitter user Glenn Compton respond to the poll writing, my default rule is that I do not pre-order games, but then I make some exception like Monster Hunter and games from Nintendo that have a long history of quality and I know will take 5 years to have a price reduction only if it sells millions upon millions of copies. I have been burned too many times by pre-orders. I don't see myself doing it anymore. There was a time when getting a copy of a game you love sometime required it, but I don't think think that's the case anymore with digital downloads being so prominent. Tweeted tweeted back and Mac. Do I pre-order games? Yes, but mostly only physical copies because I usually dislike digital downloads and I am a collector at heart. Digital downloads are usually more expensive than a physical copy, and the physical copy looks great on my shelf. Plus, if you buy a physical copy, you can always sell it on if you don't enjoy it. Whereas refund on digital games can be a hassle to pursue. For big titles that I know I want to play, I will pre-order physical copies to my doorstep on the day of release. When it comes to cosmetics, content, and other pre-order bonus, I can take or leave them. But usually I don't care for these supposed incentive. I have a soft spot for special physical edition. Who don't? Though the price often turn me away. Like I think it was Lunar Silver Star Story, the complete edition. I can attest to that. Anyway, where do you land on the pre-order debate? Would a full boycott of pre-order help games that originally tank, like Fallout 76 and Anthem, or are some developers just doomed for failure no matter what us gamers do? Okay, here's the deal. Here's the deal with the pre-order thing. Me, I don't have a my issue with pre-orders are cool, but where I have an issue with pre-orders is when developers they have a deadline, and then they try to rush the game out, rush the game out, and then the game is like incomplete, and then you the player go play the game, and then all of a sudden stuff is not adding up. That is what I have with pre-orders. When it comes to like physical copies and digital copies of games, I like them both. You know, some games is guessed with these consoles that they have right now. Some games is when it comes with the console that they have right now. It is good to have some games physical and digital, have a physical copy and a digital copy, because I mean, with the digital copy, when you come home, you just turn on your console and you just enter your password, blah blah, and you play. And then when you have a physical copy, you got to insert the disc and stuff like that. But like some games that are really really worth it, it is both. It is good to have both physical and digital copies, like the Batman Arkham series. You got to have both physical and digital copies of that, because the physical copy, you got the game, you got the game, you can play it offline. But with the digital copy, I mean, you have to have your you got to have your computer, and you can play it right away. And that way when you come in, you don't have to like open the case, take the game out, slide the disc in, and then sitting there waiting for the game to boot up. You come home and you just go straight to your console, grab your controller, turn the console on, and go and get straight to gaming. And if you have like an Xbox One Connect, it's even sweeter. So anyway, pre-ordering games, like I said, is cool. But like I said, the issue I have with pre-order games is when there's a deadline, okay? And I hate when investors, they get involved with the game, like when you have a game to release, and then all of a sudden they start delaying, like what happened with Cyberpunk, and now they find themselves in hot water. Now they're in court. That's when pre-orders become bad, or pre-orders become bad, like when a game is incomplete, and they put, like what happened with Star Wars Battlefront 2, when they put the loot boxes in it, and us players didn't know that they were even there until the players found out themselves. That's when pre-orders become bad. But other than that, man, I mean, if you take all those away from what I just explained, pre-orders are good. Especially when it comes to series, like especially if the first game is good, then you're looking forward to the second game. Like when you played the first, like when you played the first, I would say, when you played the first Batman game, Arkham Asylum, then you were looking forward to the sequel. Once the developers once the developers say that there was a sequel coming, you got even more excited because you enjoyed the first, and you were looking for improvements from you were looking for improvements in the sequel over the first game. You know what I'm saying? So that's when pre-orders get exciting, man. When you play the first game, like when you played the first like when you played the first Mortal Kombat. When you played the first Mortal Kombat 1, for its time, Mortal Kombat 1 was a straight beast. But then that part 2 came into play, and then your excitement was up, off the charts. You were looking forward to it because you enjoyed the first game so much. So that's when pre-orders get exciting, man. When there's a sequel to the when the first game has a solid foundation and it was really 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 good, and then once the developers make an announcement and said, okay, there's a sequel coming, that's when pre-orders get exciting, man. And then when they make them special editions, hey, it's worth it, man. Like when what was it, Zelda Ocarina of Time, you know? Like when Zelda Ocarina of Time came out, and we got news of it, that you went from Link to the Past and then Ocarina of Time, and then we saw the picture shots, and then we saw a little video. We was like, oh, and then the excitement was off the chart, man. And then and then when I think when Nintendo made that special that gold cartridge edition, that even upped the excitement for the game even more. So now we had two copies of the game. We had the regular cartridge, but then that gold cartridge with that special like that and the special box that it came with. Oh yeah, that made the what I'm saying, the value even go up more. So that's when pre-orders get exciting, man. You know what I'm saying? But when you know, but when when pre-orders get bad, is like what happened to Anthem, like what happened to Anthem, and then like a certain, and then like people were complaining about it, and then you put the YouTubers that covers the game, that try to review the game, and you hear their input on it. That's when that's when pre-orders become bad, man. Not saying the game can't be fixed, man, but sometimes the words that come out of our mouth sometimes can make a sequel to a game or a problem to a game can't be fixed. So yeah, pre-orders are good, man. They're really really good, and like I said, it's fun, man. You know, what I mean, especially when you're doing those collectors items, man. Pre-orders are good. I know PlayStation had that Lunar Silver Store story, the complete edition. Boy, I wanted that thing so bad. Man, that box set came with like 8 or 9 CDs. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. It was definitely worth it, man. So that's when pre-orders are exciting, man. But when, but right now with what happened with Cyberpunk, and then you got Anthem, you got I mean with with these investors messing around with these games now. That's when the pre-orders are are going down a little, but I think over time it will change, because games are getting better. Like take take Batman, Gotham Knights. The pre-order for that, oh yeah, it's off the charts because people already played People played Arkham Asylum, City, Origins, and Arkham Knight. Gotham Knights, oh yeah. The pre-orders for that, oh yeah. The pre-orders for Halo Infinite, oh yeah, yeah. Us gamers got a lot to look forward to, man. So pre-order comes with its pros and cons, man. But at the end of the day, pre-orders are exciting, man. That's all I can say. Anyway, I'm gonna leave a link in the description box for this article. Y'all can tell me what y'all think about pre-orders. Give me y'all input and your insight. But nice talking to you people again. Chris, still a Star Wars and Star Trek thing. Bored Dark Side. I'm gone. Peace.